Live from the mist-enshrouded mountaintop fortress that is X and Y Communications headquarters, you're listening to the world-famous Mountaintop Podcast. And now, here's your host, Scott McKay.
All right, gentlemen, you've probably heard the term situationship bandied about, but not much on this show. Today is where that changed. What the heck is a situationship? Are you in one without even realizing it? Should you get in one? Are they as bad as all the people who've heard the term before say they are, or is it actually got key advantages? All of that and more today on this episode of the MountaintopPodcast.com, where better men get better women. I am your host, Scott McKay, and I want to introduce to you our guest. Before I do that, I want to remind you that I'm on social media everywhere except Instagram at Scott McKay, SCOTMCKAY. On Instagram, if you dare, it's at Real Scott McKay. And if you haven't joined the Mountaintop Summit Facebook group yet, gentlemen, you ought to. We're having a lot of fun there. Okay, so today's guest is Dr. Karen Stewart. She is Hello there. Yeah, I'm about to introduce you. I want to tell these guys who the heck you are. I'm sure they like you already, as I did. You're very charming and very upfront,
thank you.
and that's a good thing. Yep. You are a clinical psychologist and sex therapist.
Yes.
In Beverly Hills, California, which has got to be interesting. So are you the sex therapist and clinical psychologist to the stars?
I've seen a couple of folks that you'd recognize. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm sure the National Enquirer would love to get their hands on whatever you talk about.
TMZ hiding outside my door, right?
Yeah. Well, that's wonderful. That's actually very interesting. Today, we're going to talk about situationships, which is a term that, I don't know, I started hearing probably pre-COVID. It's been out there for 6 or 7 years. Usually it's something that's kind of chick talk. Women tend to talk about like situationships. It's like Cosmo magazine stuff. But I've been hearing it enough nowadays. And obviously for every woman in a situationship, there's going to be a guy in there too. So it does affect men. And it's time we covered this thing and hit it with a big, heavy hammer. What the heck is a situationship, Karen?
So
let's solve this.
Let's just solve this. Okay. So a situationship is when you're in a relationship, but it's not titled a relationship. We don't do titles. We don't do labels. More than friends that benefits, but not monogamy. So it's somebody that you might see every Friday night after happy hour at work. You know, it's somebody that you might text 2-3 times a week. It's this ambiguous person that you spend time with, but you don't declare you're in a relationship.
Well, it seems like most guys would love that situation. That seems like it hits it right down the masculine fairway.
You know what? Yes. If you want to look at, how, the stereotypical man, he wants to have a good time. He doesn't want any type of, commitment. Sure, it can be great, but it can also have some huge drawbacks, even for men, believe it or not.
I'm sure it can.
Yes.
You consider how men start relationships and manage for their part once they get into relationships. And probably a really good, juicy way to jump right into this conversation would be, I understand that there's, first of all, something called girlfriend mode.
Yes, there is.
If you start seeing a woman more than once a week and start talking to her every day, she's going to make this assumption, which seems strange to the male mind, that you're exclusive. That's your boyfriend, girlfriend. My goodness, who else could you be possibly seeing and talking to that much?
For 6 days a week, yes.
Right. And then you get into the Mr. Big situation on Sex and the City, and it's just nothing is ever clarified. Everything's murky. Yeah. So it gives the guy plausible deniability without having to admit he's out there banging other chicks.
That's
et cetera,
right.
et cetera.
Yes.
So what I always tell guys is, look, around the second date, it's a good idea to ask a woman what you want out of this relationship. What are you looking for out of your dating life right now in general? And just listen to what she says, because I think a lot of guys make an assumption that women are going to want to lock them down and get all relationship quickie post haste. Meanwhile, that's a stereotype. Meanwhile, I know lots of guys who would love to lock a chick down and get married and start making a legacy and babies and stuff now.
Sure.
So after you have that talk on the second date, I always tell guys it's a pretty good idea to figure out what the two of you want out of this relationship and where it's going and agree on it before you say have sex. Because I think a lot of guys, they'll say whatever it
Sometimes
takes.
put the cart before the horse. Let's be honest. Okay?
Yeah. You're on to me here. So
yes, I am.
Because otherwise, the woman will once again assume this is exclusive. Because
That's right.
gross. How many chicks are you actually having sex with? Meanwhile, the guy's going to say, "Well, we never talked about it." So again, plausible deniability. I don't want to say I'm off scot-free because that would hit a little on the nose, but I didn't do anything. I mean, I never said we were exclusive. How could you possibly assume that? But she's got her feelings tied up in this now, and she's made the assumption one way where the other guy hasn't.
Right.
That's where I think the situationship thing can creep in, even if it isn't what we meant to do around here. You know what I mean?
I love what you're saying. I'm going to take it a step backwards, just a couple steps behind what you said. I would love to meet the guy who is, hopefully your audience is listening, that if they're in dating world, that on that second, third date, when they're like, oh, this is going really well, maybe I'm going to take her home tonight, to have that adult conversation. Because a vast majority of folks out there, men and women, but I'm going to stereotype with men right now, don't have that conversation. They want to play it off as cool. They want to play it off as like, oh, I don't want to seem like I'm too into this girl. I'm Mr. Cool Guy, but I actually do like her. Maybe she really would be somebody cool to spend some real time with. So there's so many misconceptions between communication that what you just said is exactly what I would tell my patients to do, or even friends. Like, look, if you like the person, be upfront. What do you like? What are we doing here? Are we just having a fun time? Are we potentially going to take this somewhere? Are you even looking for that with anyone, let alone me? So I would love to know that, ahead of time. But, to your point, we're going to say your guys out there are great and they're going to have that second or third date, conversation. Lay it out there. But I will also suggest you have to be ready to answer that question too. When you ask a girl, say, hey, we're having fun here, so what do you want? And if she lays it out, to say, to be honest, I'm looking for a serious relationship. I don't like to play around anymore. Eventually I'd like to get married. I want to have kids. They need to be ready to have the exact same conversation and be honest, P.S.
Even if it's the other way around.
Even if it's the other way around. If they're thinking, to be totally honest, you might get a girl that will say, to be honest, I just got out of something big, not really looking for anything. You're really cool, but definitely not looking to settle down anytime soon. And he might say, well, shit, I like her.
Slow. Yeah.
I'm looking to take it slow. I thought you were, and he's sitting there like, oh man, I thought we'd have the cutest kids ever.
Right.
I think that's where the situationship comes in, is that when these folks don't take our advice, they play it cool. And, the females are thinking, oh my God, women are notorious. And I'll say it. Women are notorious reading between the lines. Like you said, you're telling your guy, yeah, I took her out 3 times every Friday night. It was amazing. Yeah, I met her sister, but whatever. It just happened to be in the same restaurant. She reads that exact same situation as,
let's just hope her sister isn't hotter and more charming. Yeah.
Let's hope. So they take
rule number 1.
Yes.
If you want to have the hottest woman in the world as your wife, first you have to have the hottest woman in the family. In your estimation.
Oh, okay.
Otherwise, you're in trouble.
You're in big trouble. Okay, deal.
Anyway, I'm sorry. Continue. That was
good advice. Good
curriculum.
advice. Extra. Okay. So what I'd suggest with the situationship is that we all sit around and we make up these assumptions, exactly like you said. Males and females do interpret dating very differently, especially if they're looking for something. So the female will take that exact scenario I just said. It's been so cool. Like, he texts me good morning every day. He's taken me out every Friday night for the last 3 nights. I mean, I think this is going somewhere.
Girl, it sounds like you have a boyfriend.
There you go. BFF. Maybe. Yeah. Exactly. Like, oh, so when are you bringing him home to Christmas? So, but neither of these people have talked about anything. So
says your Jewish grandmother.
Says your Jewish grandmother. Like, when are you bringing a nice girl home? So I think that's where situationships kind of just fall into our laps. Again, it's for both sexes. If we don't talk about things, we don't know what's happening. So you fall into a situation where, you would never, ever do that in any part of the world. You're never going to show up to work as, and just say, well, they never told you how much I'm going to make, but I'm just going to show up. I mean, they must like me. They put me on the schedule 4 times this week.
Do I really have a job or not?
Do I? Do I not? I mean, I'm here. I'm actually doing something, but that doesn't mean I'm going to get paid for this. So we just don't know where things are headed. And that's, again, communication has to be the key there. And I'm not saying it's easy, P.S. It is not easy at all to be able to have these conversations. But once you have the conversation, you can really, let the air out of the tires type thing.
Yeah. Otherwise, you're going to end up in the basement at your desk guarding your stapler, like in Office Space.
There you go.
Am I
yes.
in a relationship? Are you paying me? Yeah. You don't want to be that guy.
No, of course not.
You know, something that you mentioned that I think bears elaboration. It
Okay.
bears the need to elaborate. Guys are afraid to be honest with women because they think women are not going to want what they want.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a dangerous assumption.
Yeah, it's very.
Now,
yes.
So a guy is thinking, I really don't want to get into a relationship. I would like to date several women at once and actually see how it goes before, I go into something really committed here after a date and a half. I'd like to have myself a minute here to figure out where this is going.
Mm-hmm.
And so, this is got two sides of the coin. So bear with me.
Mm-hmm.
So they're playing keep away from this notion. I really don't want a girlfriend. I really don't want to be exclusive. And that's when they start traipsing into this gray area of I'm sort of not telling her the truth. Yeah, baby, you're all I think about. You're all I want. And then he gets laid and kicks her to the curb because the conquest is over. And she's crestfallen because of that.
Of course. Yeah.
And meanwhile, lots of women will they don't want to look like sluts. They're not going to slut shame themselves. I mean, probably in the OnlyFans age, that might be out the window and I may be talking like a dinosaur, but
you're not a dinosaur.
I don't think you can't assume women are going to actively come out and say, yeah, I'm just a horny little slut. Can we please just go home and screw? Okay.
You're absolutely
right. You can't make that assumption. But women will use code words to insulate themselves from the slut shame and tell you, hey, I'm kind of horny and I haven't had a guy who turned me on and know how to act like a man and be masculine and actually care about me and like me for who I am. But underneath, I really, really, I am really horny. Okay. And I just got out of this relationship and I really don't want to jump into anything else. So casual isn't the right word I want to use because that feels kind of slutty. Right. Playing the field feels slutty. So they'll say, I'm just relaxing and taking it easy for a while, or I'm enjoying my social life. And most men will take that. And I mean, come on, man, we need a crowbar upside the head to get the message that this woman is attracted to us. Yeah, right?
Yep, sometimes
and so that guy will come to me and go, oh, man, she put me in the just be friend zone. She doesn't like me. She's not attracted to me. She probably is just going to use me for a meal ticket, so I take her out to eat. And first of all, why are you taking her out to eat and spending all that money? Second of all, it's like, I don't think so. I think she's just trying to tell you what she wants you to know without, feeling slutty.
Yes. I think that's a great way to put it. I think that's one of the ththings I was going to say about situationships is that listen between the lines and also listen directly to what people are saying to you. If somebody says to you straight up like that, like, you can also read between the lines, especially in your situation with this, we'll call her this girl, that she just got out of something. Yeah, I'm just kind of out here having fun. I'm not sure what I'm looking for yet, but I've been with the same person for 5.5 years.
I don't want to get married again just yet.
I don't want to get married again.
The ink on the divorce papers aren't even dry yet, for God's sakes.
Yeah, I just, what? I've never dated before. I'm on the apps for the first time. Hint, hint.
Hint.
So I'm just having a good time. That's not friend zone. So I think, and again, in a perfect world, especially females don't want to say, yeah, I'm just looking to get laid, even though they might want that, and there's a lot of evidence.
They know how
now.
They'll be treated. They know how the guy will suddenly tune out and go, well, ick. That's when men get the ick.
It is.
Like, how many guys have you done this with this week?
Exactly.
I mean,
Yeah.
Are you going to become, are you like the governor of Maryland here with all the crabs or what? I mean, Sopranos joke, by the way.
Okay. I like that one.
We call him the governor of Maryland.
The crabs. Okay.
Yes. So women learned probably somewhere in junior high school not to advertise sluttiness.
Absolutely. Yes.
Meanwhile, men are clueless and we don't understand it. Now, here's the thing. If men can power right through that and keep their frame and make a woman feel safe and secure instead of pressured. And it's okay that she said that. And he responds to that without slut shaming her. And even might say, well, how does that relate to your sex life? And she's like, well, I'm glad you brought that up. Because women can talk much more glibly and openly about sex in general than men can. Men clam up and start
100%.
personalizing it. Yeah, 1,000%. Okay. The next thing you know, she's saying, can we just, you're so sweet and you're so nice. You took me out to dinner and you're suggesting we go to a nightcap or something. But why don't we just go see how your place is decorated?
Yeah.
Let's just do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And then she'll start opening up, and she's pushing the envelope to see if you're going to shame her or not. And if you treat her with respect and you actually like her for something other than sex, it's going to all flow very quickly sexually.
Exactly. Well, and I also think it's a very good indication if she says anything indicating her home. Oh, my house is right down the street. We can just go grab a glass of wine there. That means her house is DTF. Okay, that is almost a guarantee. Nobody's going to go to their house just to hang.
Place.
Yeah, it's her safe place. She knows she can kick you out at any moment. It is, her walls, her everything, her neighbors, if she needs that, sadly, and sad but true.
Sadly.
But, it's her safety zone. So I think with women, especially some of the signs to look at is that, I've heard this from, friends, patients, you name it, that when they talk about another man in not the best light sexually, that should be a major, major green flag. Woo woo. This is what I'm trying to say. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I just got out of my marriage. It's, 10 plus years. And, I don't remember last time we connected. He just wasn't interested anymore. He was, I'm in a different place in my life. I'm looking for more.
You gotta be careful with that too.
Those are very nice things to say too, though.
You got to be careful with that too, because sometimes a married woman may be casing you by saying those things about her husband.
A married woman. Okay.
Yeah.
In a situationship.
A little off track. Yeah, that's definitely a situationship.
That is a situationship.
Importantly, we are still talking about what leads us into unwitting situationships.
Yes.
So, we are very much on track here. If you have that conversation, you feel like you're doing everything right.
Yep.
She felt like she did everything right. We have this connection, but we still haven't defined what we're doing here.
Okay.
Now, I said there were two sides of this coin. The other side of the coin is the guy who doesn't want to look needy.
Yeah, exactly.
And he doesn't want to advertise his intentions because that would make him less mysterious. Or he's been told by the pickup artist community back when it existed that, you never compliment a woman. You never give her a straight answer. You never tell her you're interested, because then you've sawed off your balls and you've given your power away.
Sure.
But here's the caveat to that. The grand elixir that cures any chance of you looking needy or clingy is being authentically popular and having options.
Yes.
You're not needy. Neediness, you can't camouflage it being there and you can't camouflage it not being there. You can wait 3 days to call her after you get her number, but you're just waiting 3 days to look needy.
That's exactly it. Yes, you're absolutely right.
If you're coming off to a woman as a guy who knows his way around women, and you probably could have a date with someone else other than her, and you're not Mr. Desperate, what in the world, Karen, is wrong with just saying, I like you. This date is going well. You look better than your pictures if you met online. What is wrong with that? Nothing.
I see absolutely nothing wrong with that. And I hear that stuff all the time. Again, we're going to stereotype males. That part of that neediness is, it is, to me, it's so aggravating. Being a female who was in the dating world for a very long time and had plenty of friends that are, attractive, successful, you name it. And these like ambiguous guys who are like, oh, I don't know, maybe. Nothing's a worse turnoff when you figure out somebody's needy. Honest to God.
It doesn't make you feel safe or comfortable.
Needy and insecure. Yes. Needy and insecure. The fantasy guy would say, I got to be honest, you look great tonight. Yeah, I love your pictures. You look so much better than your pictures. Wow, I'm so glad we connected. Would love to see you again next week.
I'm having fun already.
I'm having fun already. You're
already glad we
just
met.
Click. Yeah, you make me laugh. You're like, this is cool. Authenticity is the hottest thing ever. And it does. You can also, there's a fine line there. You can go overboard and compliment every 7 seconds. And then that's a big mess, or
then that's Mr. Nice Guy and
Mr. Nice Guy doesn't work all
you're
the time.
needy. No, it doesn't work ever, really. It's fake and it's got an agenda.
Yeah.
But regardless, we're still headed towards a situationship, even if we do everything right we've talked about so far in this podcast.
That's true.
So, let's say you're out on a date and she says, I just got out of this horrific divorce. The ink isn't even dry.
Sure.
I just really need to get out there and get social. I'm not even sure what I want right now, but it's not to sit at home and binge watch Netflix and eat Ben and Jerry's. And the guy goes, well, yeah, me too. I'm really not anxious to get married anytime soon. I think I'm going to wait till I'm a little more mature to start a family. I think that's what I want too. And then they agree to a situationship.
I would say that's not even a situationship in that way, because everybody just threw all their cards on the table. So she's saying, look, I'm not in any hurry to settle down. He's saying, me neither. Neither of them are discussing what they're doing outside of their interactions, though. They're not discussing monogamy. They're not discussing if they're still on the apps, if they're dating others, if they're sleeping with others. I personally think, and again, this is very female, I'll say it, when you start having sex with somebody, you should have that discussion if you're being sexual with others.
Just for health.
Just for health reasons, I mean, ideally, you could get tested, you could do the whole thing. We could all say everybody should wear condoms. We all know that doesn't happen all the time. So just for safety reasons, to be able to discuss that, we're all adults here, and to talk about, pregnancy and making sure somebody's on the pill or condoms or sexually transmitted diseases. Yeah, that's the ugly stuff of connecting with somebody, but we should talk about some of that stuff. So if you don't want to do all of that, yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, we need to bridge a gap here.
Okay.
Because you said, okay, that isn't a situationship because people threw all their cards on the table.
Absolutely. I think so. Yeah.
Well, okay. So you're defining situationship as there's a loose end somewhere about this relationship that hasn't been talked about. Not necessarily simply as tightly wound as, okay, we don't know where this relationship's going. We've mutually decided.
Yes.
This is temporary. You're probably not my future. We're keeping each other company now. We'll see each other when we see each other, do the wild thing a little bit, play kissy face, cook each other dinner, watch our favorite show together every Tuesday night. But, this is going to end. Now, that's different than a friends with benefits because, we're planning on getting a little relationship-y, but with a timeline.
That's my definition of it. I mean, I think where it gets murky is that when one or both catch feelings, and when it's say a month, 2.5. Okay, every Tuesday night we've had our show. Been to your house, my house. I've cooked you dinner. You've met my cat. The whole thing. We're now hanging out on a regular basis. That becomes comfortable for one or both parties, and then it becomes murky because it's 2.5, 3 months, and you're like, oh gosh, we talked about being casual. Now I don't know what to do because I kind of like this person. I'll be honest. I've taken myself off the apps. I'm on pause everywhere. I'm not talking to anybody else. What is he doing? Is he talking to anybody else? So unfortunately,
that gets awkward.
It gets super awkward. It's a terrible feeling because it could either lead to, kind of sort of one of two ways. One, rejection, because if the other person's like, honestly, I love how this feels right now. I don't really want anything else. I thought it was pretty clear that we're just hanging. Okay, then you're going to be hurt and have rejection and or need to make a decision if you want to move forward having the Tuesday night dates. Or you open this up and you say, hey, I'm kind of feeling this here. What do you want to do? And like, so glad you brought that up. Why don't we consider what, actually being in a proper relationship? So it can kind of only go one or two ways. The biggest problem I see with that is that when somebody's not honest. If somebody is clearly caught feelings and they're having a good time and they bring that up to their partner and they say, hey, I really like you. What's going on? And they're like, yeah, no, I'm casual. Oh, yeah, I'm casual too. Never mind. And then that person's sitting there continuing in the situation without a proper guideline. I personally think that increases anxiety. It can really affect self-esteem in certain ways and probably just overall not nearly as happy in the situationship.
Right. Okay. So I like where this is going because if you have a friends with benefits situation, then the friends with benefits situation has been decided upon.
Yes.
We've made an agreement together.
I'll see you when I see you, when I'm drunk with the girls, I'll give you a call. Yes.
Right. We know what we're doing here.
Yep.
And I like the fact that you're defining situationship as something where there's this error of omission somewhere. You haven't been quite upfront with me about this one key little piece in order to give yourself some sort of plausible deniability again somewhere. I think that's where you see the articles and the YouTube videos talking so negatively about situationships, because I think that is what the defining factor is of situationship versus friends with benefits, because they're very close. But I've never heard it articulated so clearly.
That's my definition of it. I mean, my vision of situationships, and you're right, I'm female. I'm on good old Instagram, follow a million different, influencers and all that nonsense. And it's always he's such a jerk. I can't believe him. But the backstory is that You never defined what you were doing. You assumed, you made tons of assumptions. Yes, you went on 17 dates, and yes, you took you to brunch and you met grandma and whatever. He never told you he was his girlfriend. He never told you that he was, this plausible deniability. I mean, if we were in a courtroom, yes, we can all agree he's kind of a jerk, but maybe he's not that big of a jerk because you could have also asked questions. So situationship versus friends with benefits. My opinion of friends with benefits is more of a purely sexual relationship. I think situationships
But you like each other.
But you
and
like
you
each
hang
other.
out sometimes. Otherwise, it's
sometimes.
just sex buddies. Sex buddies is just, you live in the same apartment complex as I do, and we take care of each other because we're hot for each other, and that's it.
And that's it. And we have made that definition of, even in those situations, oftentimes folks are they're dating others, they're open about, they're like, oh, I have a date tomorrow, I don't know what I'm going to do. And, and they might
I should
even
hope so, actually. Maybe the person they're dating doesn't hope so, but
there you go. Yeah, that they're sleeping with somebody else. So yeah, I think situationships, that's where it gets murky because there's no definition of it. That ambiguity is the killer.
To go back to what you were saying about the gal who's upset with this guy who's such a jerk for a year because, now I'm finding out he doesn't want this or he doesn't want that. And, he's such a jerk. Guys can tell women exactly who the hell they are.
100%. Yes.
I don't want any children ever. I'm not bringing any kids into this godforsaken world. I don't ever want to get married again. I've already spent $150,000 on a divorce.
Yep.
Not going to happen, Captain. I'm not doing it again. And the woman's just not trying to hear that because 100%. She loves him. I can change him after a year. Surely
he'll love me eventually. It'll be fine. He's so good at his kids. I know he's going to want more. Yes, you're absolutely right.
And a year or so in, he's a big jerk.
Yeah, that's exactly
because he doesn't want what she wants. So that happens a lot too.
It absolutely happens a lot too, and it's a huge stereotype. But females do have kind of a lens they're looking through. And I will say females because I think there is, at certain age groups, there's the biological clock, there's the desire for partnership, there's the, when you're in your, I would say late 20s to late 30s, women who want marriage and children are actively seeking that, whether they want to say they are or not.
Have a career till you're 30, and then when you're 30 years old in 2 days, it's like, oh my God, my eggs are drying up. Hurry up.
My eggs are drying up, and I'm the last one in my friendship group to be partnered up. And what am I going to do? And my sister has 4 kids, and I'm the only one in my family. Yes, and then that's when their lens gets a little fuzzy. So the guy, on the 4th date, he might be like, completely. I've literally seen it. I have witnessed it. I have been there. I'll admit it. I have been there. Where you meet this great guy.
It's societally mandated, practically.
Yeah, pretty much. Yes. So. And for the guys out there, this is what I always tell guys, and this is a total tangent from the situationships, but it's similar about, ghosting culture. Ghosting culture is huge right now, and that kind of is adjacent.
Well, it's because it's all transactional and human beings don't even exist anymore.
That's right. All we are is a picture on the screen or, a phone call or, oh, it's just one date. I don't owe her anything or owe him anything. And I despise that phrase.
Me too.
Because it's terrible. And where situationships is kind of adjacent to that is this idea of like, well, I don't owe you anything. We spent 6 months together and I slept with you 50 times, but still not cool. Like, let's talk through this.
Well, on the ghosting front, it seems like if there's a situationship and we're getting dangerously close to having to disclose, well, throw all our cards on the table.
Yeah. Yeah.
The ghosting, it could be late onset ghosting at that point.
That would be terrible.
Yeah,
late onset ghosting is terrible because
that's the worst. It's dishonest.
That's the absolute worst. Yes. It's dishonest. It's cowardly. It's
the ultimate transactional mindset.
Yeah. It's pretty disgusting. Yeah.
Disposable people. AI is not helping that, which is well traveled in this show, by the way, right now. But what's really funny is that about 7 or 8 years ago, Da-Woon Kang, who's one of the sisters who started Coffee Meets Bagel.
Oh, okay.
They got really touchy-feely with their customer base and wanted to know how they tick. And so they asked everybody, what is your number one gripe with online dating and apps? And predictably, it was ghosting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then 90-some% of the same audience admitted they do it.
I could say that.
That was crazy. Yeah, so it's a me first culture. Yeah, and it leads to this comfort level with my own dishonesty, even as I'm vilifying the person on the other side for theirs.
I wouldn't even say vilifying. Well, I mean, in that example,
yeah,
yes.
You're angry.
You're angry.
They're the bad. They're the bad.
They're the bad. I would never do that, but I have good reasons why I'm ghosting.
Right. Well, I would do that, but I have a valid reason. They did it because they're a jerk and they're horrible.
Because they're a jerk.
Yeah.
They're terrible people. Yes. So I think with the ghosting is that they're all anonymous in certain ways. With the culture of the dating apps have made everybody anonymous. Back in the day when we were actually forced to meet people, or we got set up with people, you're not going to ghost your cousin's neighbor because you might see that person again, or there's accountability because they know your cousin. But Jane, the girl on the app that you've been talking to for 2 weeks and chose not to talk to her again, click, you'll never see her again.
She's not even real.
She's not even real.
Meet her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And even after you meet her, people can ghost after many dates, and just don't do it. Now, anybody out there listening, don't ghost. Just even send that one-line text like, "Hey, I had a great time, but this isn't a match." Click.
Well, I think the moral of this whole story, Karen, is authenticity is rewarded. It's sexy, and if you're trying to get someone into a relationship or they don't want what you want, you're not going to get what you want anyway.
Right. That's a great way.
So we're going to save everybody involved. Just straight up, we're going to save everybody involved a whole lot of hassle, a whole lot of trouble, a whole lot of heartbreak, and a whole lot of time.
Yeah.
If we have the balls to just simply express what we want accurately. And then the person can take it or leave it. But what I think a lot of men in particular don't realize is no matter what it is we're looking for out of our dating lives right now, it will be shocking to us how many women will agree to that. And it'll be their vision too. If you just are honest about it. If you're honest about it, if you're still doing online dating apps in 2026, God bless you. But
there's a lot of people out there who are.
Be honest. Oh, I know. They're at least trying.
Yeah.
But I mean, even when you meet someone, hey, if it's going to work out, it's going to work out. Right. If it's a square peg in a round hole, find out now, not
That's right.
10 years into marriage.
God, hope not.
God, hope not either. Her name is Dr. Karen Stewart. She's a clinical psychologist and sex therapist in Beverly Hills, California. Man, I would love to be a fly on the wall for some of those sessions.
Thank you.
And when you go to mountaintoppodcast.com/Stewart, gentlemen, you will go to Dr. Karen Stewart's website. Karen, what will they find when they get there?
I have a website that offers a little bit of information, but it's a great way to contact me or one of my staff where we can connect you with a therapist, or we do consultations, and hopefully I'll be having my own podcast here very soon. So maybe you can come talk to me.
Does it have a title yet?
It does. It's The Intimate Desire with Dr. Karen.
Oh, I would love to be a guest.
Yeah, great. Okay.
Right.
I do love your perspective. What's that?
You're going to have guests.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. No, I would love to work with you. You're very interesting. And okay, please.
Well, thank you. I interrupt too much because I just found out.
I do too, unfortunately.
On the last episode that I'm ADHD. So for sure.
Me too.
Probably. Maybe.
Me too.
Yeah. Okay. Most of us, I think all of us. The whole world is ADHD now.
There you go.
Yeah. One big revolving Adderall pill. That's all of us. You can steal that.
I might. I'm writing these down. Yep.
Yeah. Here's my head. It is so much easier to run a podcast that's 35, 40 minutes long with a guest than to just soliloquize for that long.
And sitting there and talk to yourself and be, pontificate about how great you are. Yeah, I could see that.
We have a guy who purchases a half an hour at a time on our talk radio station at 10 o'clock on Saturday nights. And he'll teach you how to buy and sell cars.
Nice.
And sometimes I just listen to him, like if I'm coming home from something on a Saturday night around that time, just for the entertainment value, because he'll just go off.
He loves talking to himself.
He can listen to himself talk indefinitely. I actually called the guy up one time to talk to him when I was selling a car.
Okay.
Same on the phone. And he's old enough. He knows a little bit about everything. And it's hilarious. It's annoying.
He's probably a great guy to have at the dinner party, because you name anything, he knows how to talk about it.
That's great dating advice too. Wikipedia surfing. Be curious. Always be observant and curious. Yes.
Always be observant. Yes.
Isn't that funny? Anyway, that is my podcast tip.
Thank you. I'm gonna hold you to that one. I like it.
Yeah. And I'd love to come on and be a guest for sure. Absolutely. Cool. We think a lot alike on these things. And plus, it's fun to talk about.
And it's fun to talk about. You have a good energy. I like that.
Yeah. And I'm going to have you back on this one too.
Deal. All right.
Very, very good. Again, go to mountaintoppodcast.com/Stuart and get you some, gentlemen. Dr. Karen Stuart, thank you so much for joining us. Big fun.
Thank you, Scott. This has been fun. Thank you.
Yeah. Guys, you want more big fun? It doesn't stop at mountaintoppodcast.com. You can download Sticking Points Solved, which is a free book. What happened there is you guys wrote me letters over the years, and I compiled a full book that I think covers a great cross-section of just about what every guy deals with direct, actionable answers to each.
Oh, my gosh.
It's free.
Amazing.
Yeah, won't cost you a dime when you go to mountaintoppodcast.com. If you haven't talked to me about what's on your mind, give me your feedback on the show. Not only can you get on my calendar for 25 minutes for free at mountaintoppodcast.com to talk about it, you can also email me at scott@mountaintoppodcast.com anytime. I say that at the end of every Tuesday snippet from the summit. I don't say it enough on the full episodes, but you most definitely can. Our 3 longtime sponsors, I'm just going to thank them real quickly today. It's going to be Jocko Willink's company, Origin in Maine, the guys at Heroes Soap, and also the guys at the Keyport. Hey, you know what? You can visit all of them. The jumping off point is mountaintoppodcast.com. You can find links to all of them. I'm just going to say this. If you've never checked out what all of our sponsors have to offer, do that and just be amazed because they've been handpicked, because they will just enhance everything manly you're doing in your life with aplomb. So it is just wonderful. Check it out. And also, when you use the coupon code MOUNTAIN10, you'll get an additional 10% off just for showing up with any of our sponsors. All of that and more is there for you at mountaintoppodcast.com. And until I talk to you again real soon, this is Scott McKay from X&Y Communications in San Antonio, Texas. Be good out there.
The Mountaintop Podcast is produced by X&Y Communications. All rights reserved worldwide. Be sure to visit www.mountaintoppodcast.com for show notes. And while you're there, sign up for the free X&Y Communications newsletter for men. This is Ed Roy Odom speaking for the Mountaintop Podcast.